Black Mental Health UK Part 4. Going back to what I was saying before about where I'm at now. Adira is on hold, and what's really, affecting my mental health right now is the debt that I am drowning in, because one of the things I did, and I think partly was because of my mental health, partly because of just the way I am as a person, but when I could see that, we weren't getting as much funding in as quickly as we needed, and the funding we had was running out, I then stopped using the funding and was using my own benefit money to keep the charity going. And to do that, you get little enough as is. There is not enough to be pumping that into a charity as well. And so I kind of got myself into a lot of debt, and the debts have just kind of spiraled really since January. And with people with mental health issues, when things get quite hard, we struggle to handle things, so we shut down, so we stop opening letters, we stop answering the phone, we stop hearing the doorbell. I know there'll be people out there saying, oh please, that's just, everybody does that, but it's more emphasized when you have mental health issues. The problems are more compact. You do feel as though you're drowning in shallow in shallow water, and people just people just want to say to you, for God's sake, stand up. But it's not always that black and white. It's not always that simple. And I don't want, because I've heard of some MPs who say that all people with mental health need to do is just go out and get a job and they'll be fine. Working makes you happy. Don't misunderstand what I said about the 3 years that I ran Adira and how happy it made me, because you have to understand that was after 30 odd years of going to psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, pills, antidepressants, in and out of mental institutions, 4 breakdowns just here in this city alone. That didn't include the breakdowns in London. And half of that story hasn't even been told by me. So, please don't jump on this and say, well, here's a woman who's advocating that, all you need to do if you have mental health issues is just to go out and work and you'll be fine, you'll be so happy. It took years for me to come to that place where I felt well enough within myself to say, actually, I don't think I need disability living allowance anymore. You never hear of people who take themselves off certain benefits, whether it's disability living allowance or employment support allowance, when they feel well enough to go back to work. You never hear about people like that in the media, but I did that when I felt like, actually, I'm feeling a bit better now. I'm feeling this is the path that my God wants me to go down. This is what I'm going to do. I took myself off disability living allowance, but the problem, as I said before, was the job centre didn't know where to put me, because I didn't really fit in anywhere. They didn't, when I said, I want to start my own charity, but I don't know how to do that, can you help me? They didn't know what to do. They kept sending me from one person to the other, from one organisation to another, who just basically couldn't help me themselves, didn't really know what they were doing. And so it was very difficult, but it took time and it took years. When somebody is abused as a child, it takes years to sow those seeds, whether it's sexual seeds, physical, mental, emotional, psychological, verbal. It takes time to sow those seeds in a child. And because if you look at an oak tree, it starts off as the smallest seed in the world, but when it grows into a mighty, mighty oak, it's one of the hardest to uproot. And that's the same with childhood abuse. It took years to plant that abuse in me. It took years to break down my mind. And it took years to get me to a place where I was stable enough to say, yes, I'm ready. I'm willing to at least try and go back out to work. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. I miss it. I miss it so much. I still get phone calls from some of the service users that we were helping, because I've said to them, even though Adira isn't up and running and I can't, you know, drive over to you and bring you clothes, or, you know, some food from the food bank, or, you know, you can't come down to our coffee morning, I can still listen to your problems on the phone. I can still listen to you when I come round on the bus and sit with you for a few hours. And in helping them, it has really kind of helped me to help my mental health issues. But to be realistic, because I said to my daughter the other day, and we were talking, and I said, look, you know, 90% of my mental health issues at this point in time in my life is caused by my debts and threats of bailiffs coming. I said, if that was all to be wiped away, 90% of what's causing my mental health issues right now would disappear. And I feel like my mental health would get back up to a healthy place if I could just run Adira again, because that is what I love, that is what I miss so much. Oh God, it's not easy. In my next video, because I'm kind of finishing now with, you know, my life, I was still, as these videos go on, if I get sort of inclined to do more, my next videos I would like to talk about mental health and faith, domestic violence and mental health, how it affects women or men, how it affects children. I'd like to talk about the stigmas of mental health within the black community. I'd like to talk about my own personal experiences and trauma, being a black woman with mental health issues, and the barriers I've had to face and the things I've had to overcome, because people have just looked at me, seen a black woman, seen that she has mental health issues and thinks, oh, you know, we need to be afraid of her. And that's just the times when my mental health was at a point where, as I said before, I'm very high functioning. I couldn't hide it. When I finish this video, I'll mostly go and sit down and cry, because that's where my mental health is right now. Because, you know, you're kind of worried every knock at the door, every phone call, every letter that drops through. You're thinking, is this the day they come and clear out the house? So, you know, this is an example of me being high functioning in terms of my mental health. But I really hope that the 3 videos, the 4th one that I've done thus far, there are 7 billion-ish people on this planet, and I don't care if this video only helps one, because that's all you need. You just need to help one person to get to a better place within themselves, where they feel able to function better and function more properly on a day-to-day basis, and then that will have a knock-on effect with their children or the family around them, and they start seeing the change, and then it becomes a ripple effect. So this video isn't about trying to change the world, it isn't about trying to change whole of society's views on black mental health, or even black people's mental health, black people's views on black people's mental health. This video is really about raising awareness of it, being as open and as honest and as raw as I can, and be willing, when I finished, to take whatever blows are going to come, because I know they will come. I know that there are going to be people who are not going to be happy that I've made this video. There are going to be people who are going to have, you know, not nice things to say about it, but it is done. And I think that the way I'm feeling now, I feel as though it was the right decision to do this. It was right for me, because I started this for me, and so therefore I'm apologizing to no one, and as I said, I will continue, hopefully, doing some more videos, because I really would like to touch on the subject of black mental health, in terms of faith, and black mental health in terms of domestic violence, black mental health in terms of young people, black mental health in terms of relationships, all these things that I would like to touch on, and I will do in my next video.